We're live.
We're live.
Hey, it's Chris, Homestead and Hardway. And, most of our videos are done by request. And I've got several emails in the last few weeks. I want to know about, can you make money in any way, shape, form, or fashion on a small farm or a homestead or whatever you want to call it. People get hung up on terminology real bad. But if you're growing a crop to sell or livestock to sell, you're a small farm. That's just kind of the way it is. If you're doing it professionally, you're a farm. And the truth is, you can make a small income or at least defer some cost on your small place. Something I've learned, and I probably ought to tell you this, especially if you're new to the channel. We're not new to this stuff. We've been doing it for generations. I've done it my whole life. We just didn't start 2 years ago, and we've always done it. And I've learned some things over the years that may help you out. You need to learn your local market. It doesn't do you any good to grow something, raise something if you can't sell it. You need to learn your local market. You need to learn what there's a demand for. Here, I'm going to use us for an example. And this doesn't mean it's going to work where you're at, but I'm going to tell you some things that work for us and that we've learned. We can't sell eggs. We're in an area where everybody has chickens. We cannot sell eggs. But we can hatch eggs and sell biddies chicks. We can sell those fast as we can hatch them for a reasonable amount of money. We can get a good price for chicks. We can't sell okra. I'm really good at growing okra. Of course, okra are kind of easy to grow. But we can't sell okra. But if we pickle those okra and sell pickled okra, we can get, $10 a pint? Mm-hmm. We get $10 a pint for pickled okra. If you've been watching this for a while, we're really big into pigs. Pigs is one of our main things. And we sell our pigs whole hogs, dressed, processed, cut up, vacuum sealed, ready to go in the freezer. But we would make more money if we sold cuts. I have several customers that buy pigs from us, top them out, and sell cuts. They make more profit. But you can make a little bit of money. Honestly, I don't think you'll probably be able to quit your day job. But you can make a little bit of money. But there's some things you need to know. You're going to have to learn your market. You're going to have to be very careful on what you spend. The difference between what you spend and what you make is called profit. And you can't make a profit if you go buy a brand new tractor and you're making a payment on it. You can't make a profit if you buy a brand new farm truck and you're making a payment on it. And that's true all the way down to a tiller. All of your farm equipment. The best thing you can do to help yourself is buy used equipment. Learn how to fix it yourself. I know everybody can't do that. But if it's possible for you to learn how to, buy something, fix it up a little bit. A trap I see a lot of people get into is trying to restore. Don't try to restore it. Just get it where you can use it. If you've been watching this, you've seen a lot of our farm equipment. I farm with 50s model tractors, antique equipment. Most of it was pulled out of the woods and fixed. Another thing that'll really help you is, and a MIG welder's pretty easy to learn, is buy you a good little small, like 180 amp MIG welder. Part of what I do for a living is weld, so I'm gonna make it sound like it's easy, but if you get you a MIG welder and play with it, you can learn how to use it. And being able to build and repair your own equipment is a blessing. I don't know how anybody does have to pay somebody to do everything. But what's your input cost? Like the guards, if she'll spin around, this is part of ours. I don't know if she can show you for the sun the other way. But we sell a limited amount of produce. This other garden over here is
watermelon, cabbage, potatoes. and the little garden in between. There's a lot of glare from the sun. And then back there is feed corn and sweet corn.
That's another thing. Here's a couple other things we've done that really worked well. A lot of people ask me about raising meat birds. The way we approached raising the chickens for meat was we raised pullets instead. And we can sell pullets for $15 to $20 each about this time of year, early mid-spring. Well, traditionally, up until the last year or so, a dressed chicken at the butcher shop was $3. So we could turn a few pullets into a year's worth of chicken and pay the feed bill, and if we had to buy the chicks, pay for the chicks. So we get our chicken for free. Traditionally, we've always, even when pigs were hard to sell, we've talked about that in other videos. I've seen times you couldn't give pigs away. But even when pigs were hard to sell, we managed to have our pork basically for free. We managed to sell enough to pay the feed bill, the butcher if we were lucky. The way we approach the corn is I need about 600 or 700 bushels of field corn a year to make hog feed. Well, I don't have enough land to grow it. So what we do is grow a little bit of field corn. We sell it by the 50-pound bag on the cob as deer corn. Well, I can get enough for a 50-pound bag of cob corn, which is only, if you took it out of the bag and shelled it, there's not a big double handful of corn in that bag. But people use it to bait deer. That's legal here. And they'll pay a premium for it, hunters. You know, hobby stuff always brings more. So we sell our corn on the cob as deer corn and then take that money and buy shell corn. There's a lot of things you can do thinking outside the box that'll make a big difference. And like the chicken thing, people frown on that. Well, I want to raise my own meat birds because I know what they've been fed, I know where they came from. I've dealt with commercial agriculture my whole life. They're not really feeding those chickens anything that you don't want. They're not on antibiotics. All that's a marketing gimmick when they say it's antibiotic free. They can't have antibiotics been so many days of slaughter anyway. You can do this, but you need to think a little different. It's like me. What we've always farmed, the way we've always done things when it comes to marketing, when it comes to making money at it, has changed. The days of like, you know, selling feeder pigs and being able to make money doing it are kind of over with unless you sell breeding stock or you got something nobody else has. We have a type of pig that's kind of hard to get, and we have a good market for them. Where you're at, you may not. We don't have as good a market for tops as I would like to have. I wish we could sell 30 or 40 pigs topped out every year. We can't do it. The market's just not there. It's too much money at one time. And honestly, I'm too lazy to sell cuts. I don't want to mess with selling cuts. I don't have to have a storefront. I don't have to have a meat handler's license. I just don't want to mess with it because I've got so much else to do. Plus, my health's bad. I'm having trouble keeping up anyway. I just don't want something else to have to do, but we can make more money if we did it that way. We talked about the corn, where we sell corn. We talked about chickens. Just trying to make sure I don't leave anything out. But anything like that'll help you. Getting back to the okra, you put a little bit more work into it, value added. You can make a little profit. And if your goal is not, you know, a lot of people say, well, I'm not trying to make money off my small place. I just want to break even. Or I just want to keep from losing so much. Well, that's not a bad goal. And that's doable. We did that for years. And then one day, I don't know, it's probably 10 years ago, I decided if I was going to do it, like the livestock. If I couldn't make any money off livestock, there was no point in doing it. If I couldn't at least break even on the money, there was no point in doing it. So I totally changed the way I looked at everything, and slowly but surely we started making a small profit. Kind of lost my train of thought, but you shouldn't One other thing I want to hit on real quick is it shouldn't cost you a bunch of money to do this. We have about 2 acres of garden here. And of course, we're growing some corn to sell, and sweet corn to sell, and these cabbage are to sell, and most of these potatoes to sell. But I only have, and I've been keeping a running tab, I've got $100 worth of seed corn, about $250 of fertilizer, the cabbage plants were a trade deal, and about $40 worth of fuel. That's not counting any equipment cost or anything like that, but that's all I have in a 2-acre garden. And I talk to people all the time to have $500 in their raised beds. And if we have time after we get through talking about this, we'll take you around and show you. We're doing stuff a little bit different this year. We'll take you around and show you what we've got, garden-wise, truck, garden, whatever you want to call it. But you need to, and I know, that there's so much wrong information. There's so many people telling you stuff that just won't work. I get a lot of emails and phone calls. People, trying stuff they've seen online and they're failing miserably. And then when you really get to talking to them, or maybe you go watch the video they got the information from, or videos, because most times it's more than one, all saying the same thing. What they're trying to do won't work. You can't do it. It's being tried. It just will not work. Maybe it won't work anywhere. Maybe it won't work where they're at. But it won't work. Cows. We'll touch on cows right quick. Cows don't work on a small farm. You cannot make a cow generate profit, not a brood cow, on a small scale. You can't do it. I've tried it. I've tried it every way you try it. You cannot do it. You can't make a milk cow. If you take everything into consideration, everything you had to spend to do it, you cannot make a profit off a milk cow. You cannot do it. You can't get your own butter and milk and stuff cheaper. You can take the money you fed that cow and buy everybody in the neighborhood their dairy products. I mean, you can't do it. I've tried it. I know 10 other people that have tried it. I know small dairies that are milking 10 cows. It's basically a hobby. They can't make the money work. But what we can do, getting back to thinking outside the box, I can buy 2 feeder steers, put them on my pasture. All summer while there's grass to eat, free grass, feed them a minimal amount, enough to keep them where you catch them, is what we say. Just feed them enough to keep them where you catch them. And then shut them up and feed them for a month, have them slaughtered and sell beef, and do pretty good. So if you're trying something that's not working out, just step back and think, maybe, YouTube's a good tool. There's a lot of ideas on YouTube. Maybe talk to a neighbor, somebody's having some success. But you can find out maybe a different way you can do things where you can make it work if it's what you want to do. This stuff is doable. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You're not going to make a fortune. Be very careful comparing yourself to people with money. Be very careful about watching YouTube or Facebook and you see these people that have a lot of disposable income, that have a really nice place, new equipment, new tractors, new whatever, but they're not paying for it with that farm. They're making the money somewhere else. Sometimes we run into this a whole lot, they're making the money off YouTube videos. And they make the money off the videos, they buy new stuff, they give the impression they, whether they mean to or not, but they give the impression they worked in that farm. To do this stuff is kind of something has to be born into you, something's in your blood. You don't do it for the money. If the only reason people farm was for the money, the whole world would starve. I have people ask me sometimes, well, if there's no money in it, why do people do it? Well, we're not doing it for the money. I mean, we need to make a living, you need to be able to live. But if it was all about the money, we'd go get a job in town. It's not about the money. It's about a lifestyle, tradition, all you know. I mean, with me, this is all I know. There's no, I would die in a city in 2 weeks. I would just fall out dead. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't do it. This is all I know. It's all I want to know. I'm satisfied with it. I enjoy it. It's a lot of work. It's hard on you. But it's in your blood. You're born into it. You're I don't know how to put words to it, but it's something you got to want to do. It ain't something you do because of the money or whatever. It's just something you got to be born into. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit. Just remember, you can do it. You need some good information to do it, and be careful where you get who you listen to. I guess my daddy used to have a saying. When you're doing something by the book, you need to check and see who wrote the book. If they knew what they were doing or not. But you can do this stuff. Just remember, you'll never plow a field but turn it over in your mind. So if you don't get up and go do it, you'll never get it done. You're better off to try and fail a little bit than you are not to try. If something don't work, try to be adaptable. Try to do something different. It took me many years to learn to be adaptable. To, try different marketing tactics, whatever, And maybe that'll help you a little bit. And now we're going to go around and kind of show the gardens and stuff, but I know some people don't want to see that, so we'll let y'all go, and if you want to, we'll take you around and show you.
This is our garden. We've got okra and squash starting to come up. We've got cucumbers and sunflowers that are not quite up yet, but they're starting to. You can see the little okra. See? These are our little planters. We've got tomatoes and broccoli, and this is our raised bed. It's got peppers, bell peppers. We've got hot peppers, little planters up at the other end of the house so that they don't cross-pollinate and make our bell peppers hot. We've got a few empty planters. What's a good idea to put something yummy? I want something different this year. Leave some ideas in the comments. See the little tomato plants? And I'm going to walk you over and show you my aloe veras. My big aloe vera had a bunch of babies, and Chris and I, we reset them in little plants. Got a lot of them, didn't she? She was an overachiever. Then I have my other ones, little cactuses. These are a few empty ones. Then we've got our cayenne peppers here. And these are pepper plants, bushes. I think they're some kind of flower. I bought them by accident last year, but they lived, so we keep them. There's another hot pepper. But give us some ideas on what to put these. I think we have 6 empty ones. Something yummy that can grow close to one another, but doesn't have to be too close. Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and good luck with your gardens.